Hey guys, this is the GameKiller, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings, the show where I try to bang Remy. So it seems as though I made the last episode, the other episode, a bit long for no reason, because the last episode ended up being just as long. We didn't get on as far as schedule as we thought. So unfortunately, all the episodes are not going to be like in line with every chapter anymore. So that sucks. So from here, I can do whatever again. And honestly, I'm not too keen on Lorem right now, mostly because like that newspaper article is a bit sketchy to me. I don't think that's a really wise option right now. I do believe we probably should just go with Adine. Katsuharu makes some bomb-ass ice cream though. But I'm not too sure about, I don't know him, so I'm kind of skeptical about him too. So you know what? Bryce is probably busy, so I'm just gonna go with Adine. Apparently, wait. This is the place that we went to earlier. Oh no. It should be the right address. I don't know, man. Also, I sped up the text speed so that, you know, I noticed that I've been stuttering a lot, so maybe if I like try to see all of the text before like I actually read it, it could help, but I'm not too sure. We'll just see how it goes, I guess. I'm coming! Yeah, that was... Oh, it's you. I was expecting someone else. You're a little early. Yeah, I didn't know how long it'd take to get me here. Better early than late, right? You know, I'm glad they decided not to send you away after all. Me too. Oh, I know this girl from one of the Steam cards. And who might that be? This is Emily. She's one of the kids I work with. Oh, okay, the camera moved down. Hello, Emily. Say hi, Emily. I don't have a voice for her. Hello. I'm just gonna have to like wing it, I guess. I don't know. I'll try like salad fingers for her. I just have to bring her back to the orphanage real quick. Feel free to make yourself at home in the meantime, okay? Sure. Oh yeah, achievement get. That is not the same exterior as I saw it outside. Jeez, I don't know. So this is where you live, Adine. Small but cozy. I'm back. That was quick. Being able to fly does have its perks, you know? Wait, you flew her back? Well, I am a delivery flyer. She doesn't get scared or anything? Not at all. She's such a brave little girl. So what exactly is it that you do at the orphanage? I'm a volunteer. I help out with whatever they need, and sometimes they take care of the kids. They only have so many social workers. The ratio is about 1 social worker for every 10 children, so it's good for the kids to spend some time one-on-one with someone they know. Well, we all know how speeding up the text doesn't really matter. Jeez. I guess you could almost call it babysitting, but for the kids, we basically become foster parents. The older they get, the less likely they are to be adopted. She might be too old to be considered soon. What a shame. Honestly, I'd yeah, like this seems like a good Samaritan choice, but honestly I can't. This seems like an asshole choice. What a shame. Yeah, I know. I'm worried about what will happen to her if she doesn't find family. Wow. We'll still take care of her, of course, but it's not quite the same as having parents. Wow, that's just... oh my god. Maybe I should just try again. Yeah, I'll just, like, stop recording and try again, man. Yo, like, honestly, I hate stuttering. I hate it so much. Why did I choose to make a graphic novel series? Damn. I'd adopt her myself, but I don't think I could care for her properly. Not as a single parent with my packed work schedule. I still volunteer as often as I can, because if I don't, who will? Someone needs to be there for those kids. This seems logical. But that's very nice of you. Thanks, but for me it's not about being nice. I almost feel obligated to help, you know? Anyway, let's talk about something less depressing. Like what? Let me think... oh, I just remembered that someone died here recently. Really? Yeah, that's not depressing at all, Adine. Like, oh man, another one? Yeah. Here in your apartment. No, not here, silly. It was close, though. Barely a block from here. Right, the murder of the maintenance guy. I remember that. Wait, it was murder? I didn't know that. I thought it was an accident or something. That's terrible. Sorry for mentioning it. Even though you brought it up. Like, what the hell, man? Finding the first victim was already bad enough for me, and now I have to hear there's another murder in town? I wish I could get some good news for once. Yeah, that's very optimistic. Don't just focus on the bad things. It's no use lamenting something you can't change. Sorry, Kaiba. I guess I should be more positive. It's just not always easy, you know. Maybe you'll get some good news soon. I hope so. That reminds me, I got something I wanted to try on you. No. No. It's nothing too dramatic. I read this magazine the other day and found a few interesting articles. Using her partial hands, she held up a magazine to show me its cover. A rather bold-looking female was presented on the front, adorned with trinkets like rings and jewels. Various headlines gave me an idea of the content within. It reminded me a lot of the typical gossip magazines back home. Lifestyle, the magazine for modern people. This issue even came with a set of fortune cards. I'm not sure what to expect. Isn't that the whole fun of it? What should we look at first? I don't care. I don't care. Throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Alright, let's see. Here, this article talks about dreams and what they mean. Have you had any strange or recurring dreams lately? Okay, so about those dreams back home, I guess. Fire. Yeah, that's depressing. That's real depressing. Honestly, all of these answers have meanings, probably. Fire. That's interesting. Apparently, it's a rather common symbol that can mean a variety of things. Another thing to consider is the significance of the symbol to the dreamer. So what does fire mean to you? Fire can be destructive, but also wild and passionate. It can represent an issue or a problem you can no longer ignore, similar to an actual fire breaking out. It also mentions prophetic dreams, but let's hope that yours don't fall into that category. I doubt they do. Phew. What about your dreams?
It kind of feels like they're different every night. Most of them are nonsense, but sometimes I dream of people I used to know. What do you make of all this?
I don't know.
Even the article concludes that scientists haven't figured out why exactly we dream. It's a big mystery. Alright, let's move on.
Oh, I thought you meant moving on for the magazine.
Don't be such a sourpuss. There's some interesting stuff in here.
Do you think you can hit the trash can with it from here? You should try. Man, maybe I shouldn't have chose that, because I'm lying to myself at this point. What's next?
A personality test. Didn't you always want to know what kind of relationship would suit you?
Remy? Sure, why not?
Let's find out.
Jeez, that was weird.
Okay, first question. In a relationship, what role do you take?
Top.
Variety is the spice of life, right? Moving on to the next question.
Wait, aren't you going to answer the questions too?
I'll take the test after you. I don't want to keep track of both our scores at once.
Alright.
Question number 2. What's your favorite dessert?
To be honest,
Lemon ice cream? I've never heard of that, though.
Sure.
An all-time classic. Who doesn't like chocolate cake? Here's the next question. What's your dream job?
Business person. Yeah, that's mine.
I don't understand the appeal of that kind of job. It certainly doesn't mesh well with my ideals. How many more questions are there? That's all of them. Now to look up the results.
Oh man.
You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that. Oh, it says here that the results are outlined in the weight loss booklet that came with the magazine, but I already threw that away.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah, how else would you know?
There's no other way. I'll be at a loss for the rest of my life.
But now we get to the best part, the fortune cards.
Do we really have to do that?
Me too. How's that supposed to work anyway? I mean, they're just cards. How can they predict the future? Apparently, there are different schools of thought regarding the use of fortune-telling cards. The cards themselves don't know anything, they're just a tool. So the information actually comes from somewhere else.
But where though?
Well, one interpretation is that our subconscious who gives us answers that we seek.
It's our subconscious that gives us the answers that we seek. I read that wrong.
Similar to how dreams can be interpreted, the interpretation of the cards is very dependent on the person itself and the symbols they recognize in the card's images. We recognize images that are relevant to our lives, and that gives us an idea about ourselves and our current problems. However, that's just the most grounded interpretation out there. People usually associate something more paranormal with fortune cards. One of those explanations is that cards are our way to communicate with a higher being, a paranormal entity that knows more than we do and can give us subtle nudges using the cards.
And who would that be?
The explanations range from ghosts to real
angelic beings. Sorry, I was reaching for something.
One even involved humans.
Really?
Yeah, most people would say you could communicate with humans this way.
Yeah, but we speak English, so... Oh, that's good coffee.
Nice. And then there was also something they called higher self.
Higher self? How come you know so much about this?
Because I read the article about it.
Oh.
Okay, what should I draw for you?
Why don't I get to be the one who's reading the fortune?
Because I paid for this magazine, so the cards are mine.
Okay. So, what are my options?
I could read your past, present, or future. What's it gonna be?
The past should stay in the past, honestly. It's a very depressing past. The present is kinda okay. But honestly, I need as much information about the future as I can.
The prediction of the future is what most people associate with these readings. However, their purpose is to prepare the person in question for a possible future, rather than just predicting it. Oh my.
What is it?
The card we've drawn is associated with drastic measures, particularly those with a final conclusion.
Oh yeah, you must be talking about the end of the game.
Wow, my mic's off-center.
Okay, whatever, let's just leave it alone.
This can be interpreted in many ways, but it can refer to death, the ultimate conclusion. It can also mean many other things, like a violent outcome of a brewing conflict, or a positive resolution of a long-running conflict. What do you think?
I wonder if I should be worried. But I think I know what this refers to.
Really? How can you already know about the future?
Let's just say I have a hunch. It mentioned resolutions to conflicts that have been brewing, and there's definitely stuff brewing.
I guess that's everything the magazine has to offer.
Now you can finally put it in the trash where it belongs.
Guess that means you had fun then.
Sure, let's call it that.
So do you have anything interesting going on in the moment? I can't imagine what ambassador life is like.
It's been busy. I thought of this whole thing would go by quickly and without any mishaps, but now it seems like there's always something happening.
Oh really?
Yeah, I figured I'd come here, do the exchange, and leave again, but it's apparently not that easy.
It never is.
You speak like you have experience as an ambassador.
Well, no, but doing deliveries is similar. People order something, I fly to them, we exchange the product for payment, and then I go back. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But things always go wrong. For example, imagine you have 2 deliveries to make and the first one goes smoothly, okay?
I'm imagining it very hard right now.
Alright, so you get to the destination of the second delivery, and they actually check what you're handing them. It turns out that you mix up the orders, but you already delivered the first one.
That's certainly not a pleasant situation to be in.
Now you have to go back to the first family you delivered to, who by now have probably noticed that they got the wrong delivery, and exchange what you gave them for what they actually ordered.
Right.
But it turns out that they didn't mind the mix-up. As a matter of fact, they have already started eating what they got instead. It's not so bad that they aren't angry, but now you can't exchange the orders anymore, so you have to fly back at the restaurant to get the second order remade.
Happens all the time.
As a result, the people waiting for the second order do get angry, because their order has to be remade and delivered all over again.
And the plot thickens.
They complain and of course, get their meal comped. The restaurant can no longer sell that first order you still have, so the orders for both families are deducted from your paycheck, and you end up eating nothing but ramen all week again, just so you can make rent this month.
That's unfortunate.
And that's why you always double check your orders, because even a small mistake can have consequences reaching further than you think.
Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way.
I guess so. Anyway, what else have you been up to recently? Do you remember the stunt flying competition I told you about? Of course. I assume your participation is a given by now. Oh no! Will I have to decide between Remy and Adine? Oh no! Oh no! Stop! I should have chosen Lauren. Or maybe Bryce. Maybe I should have just gotten some rest. Did I read this? Whatever. Actually, I'm not so sure about that. I mailed the application earlier today, so hopefully it'll arrive before the deadline. I just went back. Or maybe I should just fly it all over myself, while showing off a few moves, that is. You should fly over anyway to make sure you get in. It'd be a shame if you couldn't enter because of a technicality. Yeah, I really should drop by. By the way, could you do me a favor? That depends on the favor, I suppose. It's kind of a long story, but there's something I need. You know some people at the police station, right? Yes. I think they're in possession of a map related to an underground building they found. I've heard about that. Oh, that's great. Maybe you could get them to hand it over? It doesn't have to be the real thing. A copy would just be fine. What do you even need it for? Let's just say I'm interested in doing a little investigation of the place myself. What's so special about it? It's supposed to be a remnant of this earlier civilization, or maybe even something created by humans. Who wouldn't be interested in that? What, an actual human in front of you isn't enough? I'd pay a visit myself if I could. See? I think if you put your word in, we could easily make it happen. How do I even ask for something like that? You don't just like honestly, this seems so sketchy right now. Like, all alarms are blaring. You could always say that humanity is interested in it. Honestly, they probably would be. Could you ask them for me, please? I can try. I won't promise anything, but I can certainly try. Thank you, that means a lot to me. I didn't know you were into archaeology. I wouldn't care as much if it turned out to be just some old building. The whole thing about it being made by humans is what's really interesting. Why's that? Well, the myths wouldn't be very mythical anymore if that was the case. We have proof. And that's so shortly after finding out that humans are, in fact, real. Yes, what a time to be alive. So you believe in all that stuff. Belief isn't the right word when you're standing right in front of me, you know. That alone is a miracle. I get excited all over again just thinking about it. Speaking of which, all this excitement made me lose track of the time. Is it that late already? There's still light out. Oh, actually, I have places to be. Especially if I want to make sure my contest application arrives on time. Guess I should be going then, huh? For now, at least. I certainly wouldn't mind if you stopped by again sometime. Will there be any magazines involved? Actually, that magazine doesn't come out that often, so we wouldn't have anything new from them. I could give you a different one if you wanted to, though. No, don't bother. If you say so. Anyway, I have to go, so see you around. What's with the cards? That didn't happen before. What's with the cards? I am scared now. Guys, it's getting serious. It's starting to get real serious. Like, I don't know what's... What?
What? What just happened? What? There's so much symbolism and like things happening. However you explain that. Oh man, maybe I should stop drinking this coffee. I woke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world? Or before something happened to me? Little did I know. I was about to find out, probably. I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Hey, Kaiba? And right on the minute. You show up at this time every day, like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I've got something for you. An envelope from the facility. Oh, these are the results from the tests Anna ran in my blood. She must have sent this before she was... No, it's no use thinking about that now. Maybe the test results will be able to help us. Let's see. Remarkable similarities in genetic makeup, particularly to the brain structure. Okay, rude boy. Oh, I suppose this isn't the only reason you're here. The chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep it waiting, shall we? We arrived at a place that will look like an ordinary house had it not been for its extraordinary size. It reminded me more of a hostel than a family home. Chief! There you are. Wait, weren't you supposed to be with Amira? Luckily, she doesn't work every day of the week. I see. Anyway, we're nearly done here, so let's keep it short. Reza broke into the hatchery. Ooh boy. There's another victim. An employee of the hatchery who's on night duty. Her body was found quite away from here. There's evidence of a struggle, but she covered a lot of distance before it was ultimately over. Loud bangs were heard from the area her body was found, and she has numerous wounds consistent with both the wounds of the previous victims and that other weapon he has. By this point, news of another corpse didn't have the same impact anymore. She was just another one of Reza's faceless victims. A hatchery? Is that what this building is? Well, not only. It's a council-owned building, and they keep everything related to this sector under the same roof. So besides the hatchery, there's also an orphanage and a family clinic inside. Oh no. There are also offices related to the administration of those services. That reminds me of the production facility. It should. They have a similar management structure. Can we get back to the case? Sorry for the interruption, Chief. Wait a minute, if an orphanage is in there too. There are no other casualties, but Reza got something else when he broke in. A generator, as well as a few eggs. Luckily, the power was restored before anything happened to all the other eggs left inside, but needless to say, the parents of the stolen eggs are not going to be happy. Why would he steal eggs in the first place? Maybe you can tell us. That's why you're here after all. I don't know. I have no idea what to even do with them. Maybe he wants to use them as a bargaining chip. After all, he still has to make his escape, and the portal is still broken. Do you think he wants to exchange them for safe passage through the portal? Maybe. It's still broken though, so I'm not sure if that would be much help. Maybe he has that part needed to repair it, and now has everything he needs to escape. He could trade the eggs for safe passage, fix the portal, and leave. That's not the only possibility. He may not be the one who broke the portal. Maybe he thinks you've intentionally sabotaged it so he can't leave, and he feels he needs the eggs as bargaining chip to get you to repair it. If he just wanted to leave, I feel like he could have done that already. It doesn't even matter who sabotaged the portal. We only know that Reza's actions are becoming more and more desperate. He kidnapped defenseless eggs, and even used the human weapon. Something's clearly going on with him. Maybe it means he'll slip up soon. Who knows, maybe he already has.
In any case, we're done here. Let's head back to the department and decide what to do next. Hopefully some of the test results will tell us something. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. No. Oh no, I just thought of the worst thing. The worst possible scenario. After a brief walk, we were in Bryce's office again. Initial test results had already come in, but didn't reveal any insightful or new information. So what do we do now? Go over the timeline again? Not yet. There are a few things I'd like to take care of first. What do you have in mind? Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Okay. Come in. Maverick, what are you doing here? Chief, can I talk to you alone? We're quite busy here, Maverick. What's this about? Reza. Well, you're looking at the Reza task force, so if you have anything to say, you can say it in front of all of us. I see. I think I know where Reza is. You know where Reza is at this very moment? I have good reason to believe that I located his hideout. He could still be there, or may have already moved on. Damn, Maverick, tell me everything. I've been tracking him for a while now. When I was at the portal a few days ago, I nearly got him and managed to follow him for a while before I lost him. Based on that, where he's been and where his victims have been found, I can triangulate his whereabouts. He has to live somewhere, right? He needs a base to hide the generators and everything he's stolen. Bryce cleared the clutter on the table and smoothed out a map of the town on the surface. It already had a few locations related to the case marked on it. Show it to me. Prior victims were found here and here. Today's was here. She was following him, likely because she wanted to save the eggs he stole. This is the path he took from the portal when I followed him a few days ago. So we've established his areas of operation, extrapolated, and we can narrow it down to this. Now, where could he be hiding in this area? He's certainly not within the village borders, so unless he's decided to live in the wilderness or a holer ground, the only option is here. The abandoned farm. When did you figure all of this out? Just a few minutes ago. When I did, I immediately came here. Damn it, Maverick. This might be it. Should we send an observation team? As if we had one to spare. Heck, we're going there right now. What about you, Maverick? I'm still on sick leave, remember? Besides, if I saw Reza right now, I'd probably do something I shouldn't. How about you, Kaiba? Isn't this gonna be dangerous? Reza probably won't harm you, as you're the only one he could possibly consider an ally. Good point. If anything, with you there, we might be able to convince him to give up. Or we could act like we intend to trade you the eggs if he tries to use them as a bargaining chip. You're not really going to use me as ransom, right? We'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll have to play along. I've got your back. If there's one thing we could do in this whole situation even worse, it would be messing up with you. We have the element of surprise if we walk into his base right now, but we risk Reza lashing out with his weapon. If we want to resolve this peacefully, observation is probably the way to go. I guess we won't need Kaiba there for that, though. True enough. Alright, Kaiba, you stay here and wait for further instructions. We may need you at a moment's notice. Don't do anything without us telling you to, understand? Okay. Alright then, let's go, Sebastian. After you, Chief. And Maverick, good job. Thanks, Chief. You're gonna leave me alone, this monster! Shortly after they vanished, Maverick also turned to leave. Then I had to wait. Bryce and Sebastian were observing the farm now. If anything new happened, I'd be first to know. I spent some time looking around Bryce's office, studying all the material he had gathered about the case, though there wasn't any information that I didn't already know. After a few hours, the telephone in his office rang. I'm not sure whether the call was intended for me or Bryce. I picked up. Kaiba. Yes. I think you need to come here. I'll give you the directions. No problem. there you are. So what happened? A whole lot of nothing. There was no movement to or from the building in the time we've been watching. He usually operates during the night, so maybe he's just asleep? In that case, it would be just best for us to go in before he has a chance to make his escape. Or maybe he's not even in there anymore. He could have seen us and slipped away unnoticed, with plenty of time to destroy the evidence while we've been waiting here. You're right. Either he's still inside, or he's already gone and not coming back. Let's go in. What should I do? You're coming with me. Sebastian, you walk around and watch the back of the building, just in case he tries to escape. I'm on it, Chief. I go in, and you stay here, alright? What am I even for here? What am I even here for, then? You're our insurance. If Reza tries to flee and sees you, it might throw him off. You might be able to stop him. Or if we get into a standoff, I can tell him you're here as well. I just don't want you to come inside when it could become dangerous. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Alright. Whatever. I watched as Bryce made his way to the front door. Looking around, I scanned the windows of the building for any sign of movement. When Bryce reached the door, I wondered how would he make his entry. Would he try to be quiet and sneak around, hoping to find Reza unprepared? Or would he barge in and rely on his strength and speed to apprehend him? Though shortly after Bryce opened the door, an earth-shattering sound echoed across the sky. Bryce! Fuck me. Yo, I don't know if I dodged a bullet. I really don't know if I dodged a bullet or if like I could have saved him. That sucks. I can't believe he's really gone. I'm sorry, Kaiba. I just don't know what to say. All the responsibility falls on me now, and Reza is still out there somewhere. This case is just beyond our capabilities. We are already at a bare minimum before this, but with Bryce gone, I just don't know what we should do now. I've already requested help from one of the cities. I hope they'll send some good investigators our way as soon as possible. At least we reclaimed everything that was stolen. Well, except for the eggs. I don't want to have to explain to the parents how their children were killed in the explosion. All the generators were just sitting inside there. It makes me think that Reza must have left in a hurry. And we got so close too. It was his hideout, for crying out loud. He probably just saw us approaching and left before we even had the chance to apprehend him. You know what? We can't stop now. If anything, this has only proven that he's even more dangerous than we thought. If Reza can make bombs out of generators, who's to say he'll use them next? We have to stop him, Kaiba. Are you with me? Yeah. Regardless of Bryce's death, we have to try our best. We have to try our best to proceed with the investigation, for his memory and the sake of the town. At least Reza doesn't have any generators for now. All the stolen ones were accounted for inside the building. Alright, let me see what else we have. When we searched the building, we found more than the things Reza stole. We also found his bloody bandage. Do you think that's his? That's what you need to find out. But given all that we know, it probably is. So he's wounded. We know he was injured in the fight with his first victim, but whether this is from the same wound or something else, I'm not sure. In any case, you could bring it to the lab for us to find out more. Sure. Next, we have a witness who reported hearing loud bangs during the night. We'd like to send someone to make a follow-up visit. You'll need to confirm the witness statement, then see if he has anything new to share. Also, now that we've reclaimed your PDAs, we're going to send one to the archives for analysis. Since they have experience with human artifacts, they're better suited to do it than any of our departments.
No problem.
In any case, I'll just leave anything here until I get to it, so feel free to do these tasks as you wish. I know it's laughable that we don't even have a free hand for simple errands.
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, I should get back to the investigation now. I'll leave the stuff for you here. I'll take care of the rest once I get back, alright?
Sure thing.
Good luck, Kaiba.
You too.
Fuck, that's heavy. That is really heavy. Okay. Okay. This might yield different results. The witness is probably the best option right now. Like, honestly, we need information as much as we can. Can I help you?
You must be Ipsum, is that right?
Yes. I'm working with the police and hoped you could answer a few questions. Oh, do you have any news about my roommate?
This is about the noises you heard last night. What's going on with your roommate?
He went missing a few days ago. I already talked to someone from the police about this, but I haven't heard back from them since.
I'm sorry. This is the first I've heard about this.
I don't know what happened to him. He didn't go on vacation, or did he suddenly decide to visit the next town? I'd know if he did. He would have told me. Honestly, I find it odd when someone goes missing. I don't hear back for several days. But when I hear loud banging noises during the night, the police send someone over immediately. I'm sorry, but I don't think I want to talk about this right now.
What? Like, what? What was that? Come on. Come on. What was that? Like, what was that? Come on.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm just dropping this evidence off on behalf of the police.
From the Reza case, right? I already read the memo.
Yep. Well, here you go.
Thanks, I'll get right to it. Thanks for all your help. Now that the facility has received the bandage, maybe we'll discover something new. I'll take care of the remaining tasks so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have good things to do than helping the police department.
It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation.
Alright then, I'll see you next time.
See ya. Dude, this blows. Honestly? Jeez. I kicked the desk. Like, honestly, I really think I'm gonna get a bad ending now. Like, I don't think this is gonna go well at all. After this fateful day, I was glad to finally have some sort of respite. I wandered into the kitchen as I considered tonight's dinner. Should I cook something or order out? When I returned to the living room, I suddenly found my strength leaving me and collapsed to the floor. I was gassed! What the hell? The next thing I saw was a blurry stone ceiling. As my eyesight slowly returned, I managed to sit up. I was in a cave, and before me stood a familiar, mysterious face. I apologize for the violence, but I can assure you it was the easiest way. Where am I? Is this your hideout? Just a temporary accommodation so we can be undisturbed for this meeting. Someone else used to live here until recently. Do you know who I am? Well, you're not Reza. Good. What did it take for you to figure that out? Since you're not whispering anymore, I can hear it clearly in your voice. I had a feeling that you couldn't be him since the first time we met, though.
Which first time are you talking about?
The generator in the cellar, when you pushed me.
I see. You can call me the administrator.
No other humans are supposed to be here, though. I assume that's why you're wearing the mask. You don't want to be recognized.
That is correct.
Whoever you are, you also saved my life.
On more than one occasion.
Your presence here doesn't make any sense. You couldn't have come through the portal. The dragons would have noticed.
This is where you were wrong. My arrival through the portal is what led the dragons to discover it in the first place.
Is that so?
When I crawled out from the hole in the earth that hid the portal, there were no guards to discover me. My existence exposed the portal, but the dragons didn't know it was there yet.
So you arrived even before Reza. That makes you the actual first human to come through this world.
That is more true than you might think.
Just who are you then?
I may have arrived through the portal like you, but my story is very different. Before the fall of humanity, I was an engineer. I was part of a team that was formed to create bioweapons. Our task was to create these bioweapons in a country where their development hadn't yet been regulated or outlawed. These weapons were planned to be a low-cost alternative for poor countries to wage war, so we would no longer have to rely on expensive drones and machines for warfare. I was to set up the lab where our bioweapon development would take place. It was a clandestine operation, set to be in the middle of the wilderness. The laboratory was an independent research and living unit and provided everything we needed without having to rely on external resources or even an existing power grid. Everything was to be teleported right into the middle of nowhere, with no traces or paper trail to follow, so international communities and law enforcement would have no idea of their operations. Our only connection to the outside world after setup would have been a two-way portal to our headquarters, who would provide everything we needed. While we could teleport individual people, teleporting a whole building was another matter entirely. Our solution was matter compression technology, incredibly expensive, but operating in the gray market was also lucrative. The technology behind it was much more complicated than even teleportation, despite being based on it. While teleportation works by utilizing black holes with a beginning and an end, compression technology relies on a loop, keeping matter in a sort of limbo state until the loop is broken. Working with black holes was very complicated to begin with, but this shape required much more finesse, and thus which was much more expensive. I was to be sent alone to set up the lab and the portal so the rest of the team could arrive safely. In case you didn't know, it is possible to use a portal to send someone to a previously defined endpoint. Therefore, it is not required to have a portal at the destination to be sent there. But as you can imagine, this is also very dangerous. A single variable off by a fraction could mean the difference between landing safely at your destination and smothering in space. Of course, my employer did not want anything like that to happen. Not necessarily for my own sake, but because of all the unfathomably expensive equipment I had with me. Regardless, something went wrong. Anyway, despite all their checks and safeguards, they could only minimize the risk so much, even if the risk is a fraction of a fraction. Sometimes, you are just that unlucky. And sometimes, it turns out all your bad luck is a blessing in disguise. I arrived safely somewhere in the jungles of Earth, yet it was not the destination that had been planned. I knew something was off, but nevertheless, I set to work immediately. At the very least, I could prepare the building. I would have shelter, and then I could begin preparation for our arch project. Getting the portal into working order would take more time, as it was a complicated process that could take several weeks. If things had gone wrong as I suspected, at least I would be able to establish contact with headquarters after the portal had been set up, and I would be able to return. While teleporting the lab to the raw location was certainly a costly mistake, I was still lucky to have my life. Before long, I discovered the truth about the place I had arrived. While I was still on Earth, it was not the Earth I knew. It was the Earth of 65 million years ago. We knew that by utilizing black holes for teleportation, time travel was a theoretical possibility. It was something even my company didn't dare to attempt, as teleportation in itself was still a very new technology.
Whoa. Okay, so I just realized then.
Oh no.
Then that means if we're in like the Jurassic era, is the meteor coming?
Oh no.
Oh, that's so bad.
Oh no, that's so bad. Yet here I was, 65 million years in the past, with a research station all to myself. The company would revel in the opportunity to study and profit from all the different life forms I could see.
Yeah, no wonder some of the dragons don't have fucking, like, wings. They look like dinosaurs. Like, I was about to make that point, but, like, I never got to it.
If only they knew about them. Oh man. I spent a few weeks setting up the portal as planned. Yet when I tried to re-establish contact with my employer, I was met with silence. Despite the time discrepancy, the portal should have been able to find my companies in the present. For a black hole, sending something through time is no different than sending something through space. However, when we built the portals, we gave them a specialized configuration. It was only possible to travel through space by aligning them across the time axis. That meant that I, in the past, would still be able to search for portals in the present to connect with. My counterparts in the present, though, would not be able to find me in the past, even if they tried. But I couldn't find them, not a single one. Even after checking the portal for its function, I determined that, for all intents and purposes, the portals from the company should have been there to connect with. It was then I had a terrible realization. The portals in the present didn't exist anymore, or were no longer operational. Maybe the blunder of teleporting the lab caused them to reconsider the risks of using this technology. After all, it was already controversial and had been outlawed in several countries. I wouldn't have been surprised if they decided to cut their losses, but it was highly unlikely that I would have immediately shut down every single portal and left me stranded without notice. Portal technology was still being relied on in several places in the present. In my mind, only one possibility remained: superweapons. Various nations had been using them as bargaining chips for some time. I didn't think the threats had become that serious, but one of them must have launched their weapon and destroyed the majority of Earth. It could have been the result of malfunction, or perhaps the political situation had escalated. Either way, it was not possible for me to establish any means of communication to find out what had really happened. I could have sent myself back into the present with the right coordinates, but this was a risky endeavor, and I also had to ask myself if it was present I wanted to return to. I was sure that if anything was even left of a world, the aftermath or a possible retaliatory strike would take care of the rest. In the end, I had to realize that whichever present did exist was likely not the one that was worth returning to. It made my decision all the easier. Instead of returning to a destroyed civilization, I saw an opportunity. Rather than creating bioweapons, I could use the lab to create a new civilization, shaped by my own ideals. I had all the necessary data and most of the modern methods and machines at my fingertips. Besides, most of the processes had already been automated. In the end, I still used the lab for what it had been created for, using human and animal DNA to create beings that were mostly animal, but possessed of greater intelligence that allowed them to learn whatever we wanted them to.
Okay, now I'm getting another theory. This new theory is that this guy actually made the dragons, which is really weird. That would explain the fire breath, cause like that doesn't seem seem like a lot, like a natural like thing in like the animal kingdom, to any extent really. As I didn't have any
animal samples sent with me when I initially arrived. I collected them from the sources available to me. Automated processes mixed with the DNA further cross samples. New abilities like enhanced armor, flight, and spit weapons make the new creatures more effective in combat. The result was a number of different species, each tailored and optimized to fill a specific role in a war situation. Hormones allowed me to speed up their growth, and with the lab's learning program, they could be educated in whatever manner I saw fit. My first concern was self-sufficiency. They needed the kind of knowledge that would enable them to come together as their own independent society. Luckily, the AI that automated all the processes in the lab was more than helpful. I unleashed the first generation of my creation, and as their leader, founded our first village. I thought we could really pull it off, and once I saw that they could survive without any guidance and also govern themselves, I knew my plan was a success. When I realized that this new society would eventually be destroyed, I told myself I would do anything I could to save it.
Destroyed? What are you talking about?
Haven't you realized where we are? The
asteroid is headed for us!
With a diameter of over 10 kilometers, its impact will create humongous clouds of dust, throwing Earth into a literal dark age. They will block out the sunlight for over a year, killing off many species of plants that rely on photosynthesis to survive. As a result, animals that eat those plants will also vanish, as will those who sought sustenance from these herbivores. All in all, 75% of all species will vanish, and in terrestrial ecosystems, all animals heavier than a single kilogram will die. That would be 2.2 pounds, in case you didn't know. It would be the end of everyone who lives here, every single dragon you've seen, unless we do something.
We? What am I supposed to do?
Do you not wish to save them?
I came here to help humanity. Now they tell me this society, this whole world, is also on the brink of extinction?
That is the truth.
What kind of difference could a single person like me even make to save it?
Right now, it's also a single person that presents its greatest threat.
Reza? How?
In order to stop the comet, we will need as much power as possible. We reclaimed all the generators he stole.
Oh shit! We've reclaimed all the generators he stole. Besides, how could a few of them be enough to make a difference for something like this?
Don't forget that Reza is still out there looking for more. The truth is, I don't know if all the generators we could gather would ever be enough. We only require enough power to divert the comet's path during a crucial moment, but even if this plan is possible, we will need every single generator we can get.
So my goal hasn't changed. I just need to find Reza.
Yes, but you'll need my help, and maybe the help of others. You know that Reza's dangerous, and with his gun, he has a clear advantage. Don't think that he wouldn't hesitate to kill you if you were in his way.
Then what should we do? Do you know where he is?
No, but I think you'll find him soon, and you can count on my support when that happens.
I see. There's one thing that still doesn't make sense to me though. The dragons have myths about you, but they don't know or remember you. They haven't seen any humans for who knows how long. How much time could have passed since you created them and now? How many generations could it take to forget? Why isn't there proof of your existence?
I don't know exactly how long it's been myself. When I realized what time period I was in and my creation was about to be wiped out in the future, I wanted to go to that future and see what they'd become. I disabled the portal's time access safeguards and thus enabled it to connect with others in different times. This all included that very same portal in the future. But with the generator of our lab being able to supply the portal with the power for an indefinite amount of time, I was able to travel to any port in the future I wanted to. The entry and end point of the black hole would be the same place in the same portal, with the way it traveled being just along the time axis. Since I could now search for connection points in any time period, I could look for my own portal in the future and pinpoint the moment the signal dropped.
The comet.
Exactly. I found that specific point in time and traveled to a future that was as close to that event as I could safely manage. After I arrived here, my escape from the portal's hiding place led to to its discovery by these dragons. Jesus. It and the laboratory were unearthed. I still don't understand how the portal found yours, or why we ended up arriving at this particular time period. The portal you found was no doubt one of my companies. They must have been connected before, so the corresponding data for their connection already existed when you found it. I'm not sure that could bypass the anti-time travel safeguards though. Was it completely operational when you found it? No, it took a little bit of tinkering. Probably jumping the hardware safeguard in process. Now consider that connected portals travel along the time axis together. The data for the beginning and endpoints are adjusted automatically. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to transport anything from one place in the world to another without also sending it through time. Since these two portals must be connected at some point, the corresponding data for the connection between those two portals already existed. When using the same connection without changing any of the data, this would mean that despite this time discrepancy between those two portals, time still progressed linearly for them. I'm not sure I understand. Let me try to rephrase that. The portal you found in my own share a connection. However, while a connection is locked to a certain place, which is wherever the portal is at that very moment, it is not connected to a specific point in time. For us in the physical machines that are the portals, time passes linearly, and we can't do anything about that. However, for the black holes, this isn't the case. Just as their entry and endpoints can be in different places, they can also be in different times. In order to not send something through time when we just want to transport something from one portal to another, portals are anchored together in such a way that time data is automatically synchronized. Essentially, this means that ever since you arrived in this world, the same amount of time has passed for you has also passed and placed where you came from. I see. So despite being in different time periods, time still passes linearly on both sides of the portals. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for you to send messages back and forth to each other. If they were not synchronized, the portals on both sides would stay connected not only to a single point in space, but also to a single point of time, thus making proper two-way communication impossible. However, this is only possible through the connection that has already been forged. If we wanted to, we could also use our portal to send you back to your own time period, but to a moment before Reza even arrived here. But that would mean there were two of me, right? Wouldn't that cause a time paradox? I can only tell you that it will work. No one has studied time travel before though, so if there are any consequences, and I'm not sure of them, most likely an entirely new timeline would be created. There would also be a timeline without a Kaiba altogether, and in the new one, there'd be two of you. This is becoming way too complicated. I apologize. To come back to your original question, I'm not sure how much time passed between the time I left my newborn society and now. Since the portal was not designed for time travel, I have no way of knowing how the variables translated to our perception of time. It could have been thousands or even millions of years. How could the portal or even its power source be operation after all this time? The portal receives its power from the generator in the lab. These units were fitted with the absolute best technology we had to offer. It is designed to provide sustainable power completely independently from any existing network or power lines. It gains energy from many sources: sun rays, Earth's heat and movement, just to name a few. Keep in mind it had to power a whole laboratory and research station, while also providing the energy required for all its inhabitants and associated energy expenditures. Taking its power from Earth itself, a generator like this continue providing power to the lab indefinitely. Speaking of which, why haven't I seen a single dinosaur since I arrived? It seems that the Dragon Society expanded over the whole continent. Many still hunt on their own for sustenance, and as such, the original species they were based on have mostly vanished, and in direct competition, ours proved to be far superior. Also, they probably taking measures against having big predators roam their cities and villages. Yet while the dragon population has increased tremendously, I've found that by and large, Their society as whole has not changed much. Is that why everything here looks like it was made for humans? I suppose so. The learning program I initially used gave them knowledge about things and how to create them. Yet of course, those were only human inventions and designs.
That makes a lot more sense.
Did I never stop to think how they oh man.
Wait, what is this? What is this, man? I can't even read anymore.
Did they never once stop to think that they should adjust how certain things look? A lot of the furniture and objects I've seen look very impractical for a dragon. I was surprised about it too, but I have an explanation for this phenomenon. Don't forget that their genome was designed by an AI program to make them into effective bioweapons. The idea was to have them indoctrinated at a young age. After reaching adolescence, their learning capacity would be greatly diminished. This resulted in subjects that would stay loyal and unlikely to change their desired behaviors. Instincts also play a role. I imagine they are very much at odds with their learned behavior. Instincts in animals never change, and instinctual behaviors will always be there. If a given trait has been programmed into the genome as an instinct, it is not very likely to change, even through numerous generations. We can see the result of this here. While initially I made them learn a certain set of values and knowledge, I found that the expression of those ideas has hardly changed.
My coffee's cold now.
And after I was gone, each new generation learned from its elders, and much of the initial knowledge and information it has retained through all this time. Their genome as a whole did change, however, which was unavoidable over time. If they'd been used as bioweapons as intended, they would have been nothing more than an army of identical clones. While I can see subtle changes in their behaviors as a result, some traits are still very much present in them. They are content with what they have and don't strive for more. They don't innovate or change, so technological breakthroughs or new inventions are a rarity. It's quite the opposite, really. They have very much valued tradition in their ways, which have not changed much at all these years.
I see. How much time do we have left to stop the comet?
In a few weeks, the comet will pass the moon, and its gravity field will point the comet's trajectory towards Earth. This is when we need to be ready. If we strike then, we only need to minimally affect its path in order for the comet to pass Earth safely. It won't be enough time for the inhabitants of this world to prepare if Reza steals our greatest assets.
So it's all about Reza and the generators, isn't it?
Indeed. By the way, I fixed the portal in case we need to use it.
Did you break it to prevent me from being set away?
No, that wasn't me.
Reza better not use it to escape.
Trust me, the portal is our greatest asset. I programmed it with emergency coordinates. If you should find yourself in a hopeless situation and feel there's no other way out, go to the portal. I've made sure only you will be able to use them.
I'll keep that in mind. So what's your plan? What do we do now?
I will resume my work, and you will continue yours. Find Reza.
The administrator turned to leave. Wait, what's with all the secrecy? Why are you still wearing that mask?
Why don't we pool our resources together and show me your hideout? Don't you think it would be better if you were completely frank with me? No, not now.
A second later, the figure had already vanished into darkness outside. When I followed, I realized that I wasn't sure how to get back to my apartment. Surrounded by trees in the blanket of night, it was hard to make out where I stood. After wandering through the underbrush, I realized that the lights on the horizon had to be coming from the village, and I made my way back. I returned to my apartment without much trouble. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to see how much time had passed. Not having anything left to do for the day, I soon fell into a deep slumber.
Oh, okay. Hello, this is Remy. I just wanted to remind you about the summer festival. It'll start any day now, so I hope you can make it. It'd be nice to go there with you. I'm not sure how you feel about this, but I usually try to avoid the crowds. In any case, please let me know if you want to go. Summer festival, huh? Oh no. But it's been way too long, honestly. This is gonna make it way too long. We've already been recording for an hour, and honestly, it doesn't feel that long. I mean, like, we only went through 2 events, but geez, it's gonna get way too long if I continue on. So, well, all right, let's just recap. Let's just try to recap and think about what's happening here. So, Bryce dead. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Honestly, if I went first, I feel like I could have saved him. But that would have been like, I don't know. I'd have to rely on me being able to spot whatever like trap there is. And that's like really, but like if I wasn't given that option, that would have sucked. Oh man. And like, it also turns out that so these dragons are actually just like really like they're so apparently this is all like in the past, like the Jurassic era, man. And like this is really weird. But it does explain why everything's made for humans though. Cuz all this furniture looks very human-like. And I think I pointed this out like in an earlier episode that everything looks very human-like. The house, the doorways look the same. The stairs too. Like Bryce was complaining about that. But like, yeah. Dang. Okay. And honestly, I don't know where to go from here. This gets really messed up. That means that Reza is the only possible like. So Reza is a murderer, and that sucks. Whatever. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to end it off here. Hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Also, school's starting again, so it might slow down a little bit, but I promise, guys, I promise that I'll try and get these out as fast as possible. But until then, I'll see you in the next episode. That's not the button to stop recording.